Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the evening commentary for Market Truth. This is Thursday evening, February 17th. Um, the market continues to grind higher. Last night we gave you the weekly levels that we tagged yesterday, which was 1336 on the S&P futures. You'll notice that we did trade above that today, traded up to 1340. Um, Pretty strong day across the board in all the indices. Especially the some of the tech stocks are really catching fire. A lot of strong bids out there. The Thursday break above the weekly. We did roll over a couple of handles into the close, but definitely a strong market. We don't generate weekly buy signals on Thursday and Friday, but we do make note of that we actually did break above the weeklies today, and of course we broke above the monthlies last week. The monthly buy signal was around 1320 on the S&P futures, but not a lot of volatility. I mean, we're 17 handles above that. Usually, when we get a monthly break, we want to see a much bigger move, but the volatility just keeps getting tighter and tighter and tighter. But again, today just continues to show you that you cannot short this market. You're either going to be long the market, pick your spots to buy it, or you're going to be flat. Anybody who sold at that weekly level yesterday, 1336, I mean, the market didn't run away from you. It's Spoods when trade up to 1340. We're currently 1337, so that was a good level, I think, to exit the market this week and wait for the new weekly levels next week. You'll notice on the intraday we solidly took out the intraday high, which is around 1333. So we took that out in the S&P. Let's look at the other indices here. You're going to see a similar story with the Nasdaq. On an intraday basis, it took out the intraday high volatility level. Actually came back in and closed right underneath it, but on the Nasdaq we did not take out. We got close, but close yesterday, but we did not take out the weekly today in the Nasdaq. Of course, we've got the monthly buy signal, which we generated at 2358. Look at the Russell. Russell did break above the weekly, closed right on it. That level was 832.70. We traded up to 835 today. The monthly buy signal in the Russell was at 811.90. So the Russell has a little better follow through. 20 handles, a little bit more than 3% above that monthly level. So the Russell has a tendency to catch a momentum bid much quicker than the S&P does. We'll take a look at the Dow here. The Dow also broke through the weekly, as you can see in the lower left-hand corner, and the Dow actually had a solid day intraday as we took out that level around 12,268, and we actually traded above that by about 40 handles. So the Dow had a good day, closed above the intraday. That's another thing we look at. Do we actually close above the intraday volatility levels? And the answer to that is yes, we did. We closed right on top of it on the weekly. So all the indices except the Nasdaq closed above their weekly, and all the indices but the Nasdaq closed above the intraday. So going into tomorrow's option expiration, I don't expect a lot of activity tomorrow. Volatility has been so bad in terms of just being non-existent that maybe a little bit of movement on the open, but I don't foresee anything big tomorrow. But we're going to have next week will be the last week of the month. We got a holiday shortened week, 4 trading days. So we've got a shortened week plus it's the end of the month. Um, we're going to watch those new weekly levels carefully. Again, as I mentioned, if for any reason we do sell off in the S&P, even though we're pretty high above that weekly low, that area on the downside, as I told you yesterday, is 1317. So we need a 20 handle sell off to hit that tomorrow, but that is a level that it acts as a magnet if we reject the intraday. But since we took out the weekly to the upside, there's probably a little chance that we'll actually test that weekly low volatility level at 1317. So that's where we are. Good luck with option expiration tomorrow, and we'll see you next week, guys. Thanks.